Hello, everybody. Tell me if you can hear me okay, because I got new wires. I got new XLR wires for my mic. So hopefully everything's going off without a hitch. The Xenacam or AvaCam today was not working until literally 3 seconds before we started, but I think we're all good right now. First of all, the first thing I want to tell each and every one of you is that on Friday, it was Ava's very first birthday. She is 1 year old. 1 year old? Not years, because it's only 1 year. She is 1 year old as of 2 days ago. So, Ava, show the people. Look at how big she is. I want to start off with showing you a little clip from the very first episode that Ava was on. First, before we do that, let's say hello to the folks who are here already. Yo mama. Don't forget, yo mama is my mama, so y'all behave yourself. Christo, good to see you. Quest Fanning, happy birthday to you, sir. I understand it was your birthday. Was it yesterday or was it on the 15th? I don't remember, but your birthday just happened as well, so happy birthday to you. Moose is here. Good to see you, Moose. News Now Enemy, as always, good to see you, brother. Erica, I'm so glad you're here today. Parson, good to have you. I think I got everybody. Oh, Amanda is here. Oh, the mom, or the mom. Hi. I didn't realize your name was Amanda, but hello. I know you from Twitter and from Handy's show. Ava, I don't think you want to go anywhere. We have treats coming. I saw two super chats come in already. All right. 3. Bandit just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, good sir. Let's get them some treats, and then I'm going to show you a little clip of the very first episode that Ava was on almost 8 months ago. So I want to say thank you very much to Bandit for the 5 gifted memberships. Parson, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And Quest Fanning. Like I said a minute ago, happy birthday. Look, it's the Xenacam now instead of the AvaCam. Xena, do a shake. Thank you. Ava, do a shake. Thank you. There's some more. There's some more. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They got their treats. I have it scheduled for another break in the middle to do more treats. So if anybody donates in between now and then, we'll take a break about halfway through and we will do more treats. Now, I promised you the very first appearance of Ava. So we adopted Ava in February, late February, I think, of this year. And the very first show she was on was the day after we adopted her. We adopted her on a Saturday, and the next day was a Sunday, and we did the Cocaine Bear episode. Do you guys remember the Cocaine Bear episode? It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It was a very interesting story, the Cocaine Bear story. But if you pay attention up here in the corner, this is the very first appearance of Ava. And look at how much she's grown. Oh, no sound? Really? No sound? Are you serious? All right, let me try it again. Sorry. Sorry. I will try again. I thought I clicked all the buttons in the right order. Apparently not. Click the button, share. Tell me if you have sound now.
Training her young.
It's like, no, this is my good side.
Yeah. You gotta go this way. You gotta go this way. So this is Ava, and you would think that she's like Xena's
baby, but she's not.
Right.
She's a completely different breed. So we'll see. I don't know what she's.
Do you guys
gonna
have
look
sound
like. We're
now?
not sure exactly what she is.
What breed of dog is it?
They think, when you adopt a dog,
kind.
which, by the way, don't shop, adopt. Everybody, there are so many dogs out there
Amen.
that need loving homes. So don't be buying a dog. If you do, don't tell me about it because I'm so pro adoption. But they think that she is part Doberman Pinscher and part German Shepherd.
Spoiler, she's neither German Shepherd or Doberman Pinscher. We did do her DNA test, and she is probably everything except those two breeds. She's mostly pit bull, but by mostly, that's like 30%. And then she's like a little bit of like 17 different other breeds.
Huh.
She's going to be a big dog.
So we don't know. We don't know what she is, but
That's an interesting mix. Yeah.
She's cute. That's the only thing that matters.
She's very cute. She's very cute. We'll put her over here.
So she did. She used to be cute. Now look at her. Now she hasn't learned her camera angles yet. She's showing you her butt. Hey, Ava. There she is. She's a pinhead. I like to call her my little pinhead. She is. She's a Heinz 57. Exactly. All right. So you guys are here to hear. You're here to hear the story of the Utah cabin murders. So I'm going to start telling you about that. First, let's go to Utah. We're just outside of Salt Lake City here. Here's Salt Lake, and this is going to take place in these mountains over here to the east of Salt Lake. It would help if I had my notes up. So the Tiede family consisted of Kay, Tidwell. I think my notes are wrong. Kay, it says Kay Tidwell is 49, but I thought Kay was the grandmother. Anyway, Kay Tidwell, Beth Tidwell, Kay Tidwell, Tiede, which is the mom, age 49, Beth Tidwell Potts, age 70, which is the grandma, Rolf Tiede, age 51, Lene Tiede, age 20, and Trish Tiede, age 16. So this family has a cabin over here near Oakley, but like out here in the mountains where there's no town. So they're up here, and probably some of these cabins that are up here, when you zoom in on these hills, you'll see just little dots of cabins way off the road. I believe they were up in here in these mountains. There's one here that's just all by itself. And this was their vacation home. They spent summers there. They would go there at holidays. And it wasn't just like their family. It was like the whole family. So aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone was going to meet them there. So this is the week of Christmas in 1990. And the whole family, including aunts, uncles, cousins, they're all meeting at the family cabin in Summit County, Utah for Christmas. They're going to spend Christmas together. The Tiede family traveled to Utah from their home in Houston, Texas for Christmas. The grandma actually lived in Salt Lake, which you can see is about an hour away over here, Salt Lake City. This cabin was very secluded. It was 4 miles from the road. In the wintertime, there was no way to get up the mountain to the cabin without snowmobiles or some people call them snow machines. I always called them snowmobiles. We used to go snowmobiling when we would go up to, my aunt had a cabin in Wisconsin that we would snowmobile at. So they would park down by the road, and to get to the cabin, they had to get onto snowmobiles and go up to the cabin. And they had like little sleds that they pulled behind to bring like the groceries up, or like anything they were doing up there, like anything they needed. So the family goes on December 21st. The family, consisting of the 2 daughters and mom and dad, drive down to Salt Lake to go shopping, to pick up, the extra like food supplies, groceries, last minute shopping, and pick up Grandma, who they called Grams. So Grams had been in a car accident recently, and she was slowing down, and they were all they were looking forward to spending Christmas with Grams because, like I said, she lived in Salt Lake. They lived in Houston. The girls especially had said, I watched interviews with them, and they especially said that they were very much looking forward to spending Christmas with her. So they go down on the 21st, but while they were shopping, this big snowstorm blows in. So they decided they're going to spend the night in Salt Lake and go up to the cabin the next morning. They were expecting the aunts and uncles and cousins and all the rest of the family to meet them on the 22nd anyway, so they weren't really missing anything at the cabin. The cabin was just basically empty. So the morning of the 22nd, Mom, Grams, Lene, who's the older sister, go back to the cabin first. They load up the stuff that they shopped for the day before. They go up to the cabin. They load it onto the snowmobiles, and they start going towards the it's 4 miles from the road, like I said. So they're going the 4 miles on the snowmobiles to the cabin. And Trisha and Dad have to go to a small town called Camas, which is here, to a snowmobile repair shop because they had to pick up 2 more snowmobiles that were at the repair shop. When the 3 women, the daughter, grandma, mom, arrive at the cabin, Lene, the daughter, runs inside almost immediately because she didn't have good gloves on. So she wanted to go warm up her hands under hot water before she went out and unloaded the snowmobile sleds and stuff. So she runs inside to go to the kitchen sink. And as she goes inside, out of the corner of her eye, she sees like a gray something go past her. In her head, she's thinking it's one of her cousins got there early. Like, oh, good, Christmas is starting. This whole holiday is starting. We're going to get, we're going to get to partying. We're going to get to our Christmas, right? Turns out it was not her cousin, unfortunately. It was Von Lester Taylor, and Edward Deli was right behind him. Here's the family. There's Lene and Trisha at the time. And then this is Grandma and Mom and Dad. So Taylor and Deli had met at a halfway house called Orange Street in Salt Lake. On December 14th, they had been given a day pass from this halfway house to go look for jobs. They decided, we're not looking for jobs, we're just leaving, which they weren't allowed to do. They were on parole. They had both just gotten out of prison for various crimes. So they weren't allowed to be just leaving. This was on the 14th. Now remember, we're on December 22nd at this time, right? This is Von Lester Taylor, age 25. And this is Stephen Deli. He was 21 at the time. Like, look at how creepy this guy is, right? So they walk away. Taylor and Deli hitchhiked to Summit County. Taylor's family owned a cabin in Beaver Springs, so he was kind of familiar with the area. Von Lester Taylor had been previously convicted of aggravated burglary, which is kind of what they're doing right now. And Edward Stephen Deli, spelled with a V, by the way, the incorrect way, had previously been convicted of arson. No one knew it yet, but they had broken into 9 other cabins since they had left the halfway house on the 14th. So after all the stuff I'm about to tell you goes down, they figure out, like, a lot of these cabins, nobody's there in the wintertime. They're like summer cabins. So they had broken into, and not just like broken into and ate the food and slept in the bed like Goldilocks. They had gone in there and like trashed the places on purpose, like breaking things on purpose and stuff like that. They broke into the Tiede cabin shortly after the family left the day before, so they had been living in that house for about 24 hours by the time Lene walked in on them that day. Taylor and Deli had helped themselves to food. They had even opened Christmas presents. They opened all the Christmas presents under the tree. Basically stealing Christmas for this family. I have a little video here of them actually. They videotaped themselves opening the presents, guys. It's so creepy. I put out a short yesterday of this, but it is like the creepiest thing ever.
I don't know. Okay. I don't think I got all of this. How come your light flashing on us under that? I don't know. Find out. How am I supposed to find out? Instructions. And Lene. Come on, pass them. Oh, wow. What is it? Baseball nerd. Okay. Let's see a couple of them. Oh, the football and basketball. Show them this way. Turn them this way. Okay. Next page.
So creepy, guys. So creepy. I don't know what I was doing here. All right. So they ask Lene. So here's where we're at. They, Lene comes in. She's like making a beeline up the stairs and to the kitchen sink to warm up her hands under hot water. And this guy, Taylor, comes up behind her, holds a gun to her head, and says, "Who else is with you?" And she tells them, she tells them, "It's my mom and my Grams is with me." And right as she's telling them that, Grams and mom walk in and start coming up the stairs with the first load of stuff. Let's get the cheery music back on. This is a lot. A little Christmas music. So Taylor turns his gun towards Grams and mom, and Deli is still holding the gun on Lene. And mom immediately starts trying to plead with these two. Like, why are you here? What do you need? You can take anything you want. Take anything you want. I'll write you a check for any amount of money. Please don't hurt us. Just pleading with them. Just pleading. Don't hurt us. Take what you want. We won't say anything. Like all of the things that you would say when you're being held at gunpoint in your own freaking home. At this point, Lene is sitting on the sofa. Grams is sitting on a chair just behind Lene, and mom is standing in front of the sofa, like here, and then the two men are over to the side here, pointing the guns. One at mom, the other going back and forth between Lene and Grams. And Taylor's the one that the mom is pleading with. He's the older one. He's the creepy one opening the presents. That guy. Pleading with them, don't hurt us, don't hurt us. Just like right as she's pleading, this dude just opens fire, shoots mom right in the chest. Of course, Lene's in shock. Grandma's probably screaming, crying, watching her daughter get killed in front of her. Right as that happens, they turn the gun towards the grandma and open fire on grandma as well. They both shot simultaneously at grandma. This part gets me, man. Lene starts at this point. She starts praying out loud. And Taylor, creepy guy, says, "Shut up. It's not going to work. I'm a Satan worshiper." All she wants to do is pray. She's praying that this nightmare ends. She's praying that they get out of there safely. Taylor and Deli drag both Beth and Kay out to the deck and cover them up with blankets on top of them, and then snow on top of the blankets to sort of cover up. But there's obviously blood all over the living room, so it's not really covering it up that much. About this time, Trish and her dad, they're at the snowmobile repair shop, and all of a sudden, like, Dad's at the counter. From what I understand from the interviews I watched, Dad's at the counter, and Trish is like on the floor models out in like the showroom area, and she gets this like feeling of dread come over her all of a sudden, and she like walks up to her dad, interrupts him while he's talking to the guy, like paying for the snowmobile repair or whatever they're doing, and says, something's wrong. Something's really wrong. I don't know why. I just have this immense feeling of dread. Something's wrong with grandma. Something's wrong with mom. They stop the transaction, and like the dad believes her and calls the cabin. When the phone rang, Taylor got angry and ripped the phone off the wall. So it's just ringing and ringing, and then goes dead. So Dad hangs up, calls back, and then it's just going to a busy signal. Do you guys know what a busy signal is, or am I just super old? I don't think phones have busy signals anymore. It just goes straight to voicemail. They're not twins. They are, one of them is 15, I believe, 16, and one of them is 20. I can tell you exactly because I have it up here in my notes. 16 and 20. So the 20-year-old is the one that's at the house, and the 16-year-old is the one that got that feeling. So the dad calls back. It's a busy signal. Rolf and Trish, so Dad and the other daughter, immediately left the repair shop. They didn't even pick up the snowmobiles, and they start going back to the cabin because they're like, something is really wrong. And they were thinking that it was like, because Grandma was pretty old and had been in that car accident that I told you about. So they're like, did something happen? Did she fall on the stairs? Did she fall off the snowmobile? Because it's a 4-mile ride on the snowmobile to even get to the cabin. They just think something's wrong. We got to go see what's up. And this is kind of confusing because two storylines are happening at the same time. So I'm going to go back and forth and tell me if you get confused. I think I wrote it in a way that makes sense, but what makes sense to me doesn't always make sense to everybody else. So, Rolf and Trish headed back to the cabin. Taylor told Lene to pack a bag because you're coming with me, you're coming with us, and we're got to get out of this state. So as she's packing the bag, she hears the snowmobiles coming up the road, and she's like, oh no, that's Dad and Trish. And she knows what's going to happen because she saw what happened when her mom and grandma walked in. So as they pull up, the men meet them in the driveway, tell them to shut up and come into the garage. Rolf immediately takes his wallet out, gives the guys all the cash that he had. It does basically the same thing Mom was doing, saying, take anything you want, anything I can give you. He has no idea where his wife and his mother-in-law are right now. He has no idea that they're dead. He just knows that they're holding him and his one daughter at gunpoint, and his other daughter is being basically held captive by the other guy. Deli. So, okay. They make Rolf take his snowsuit off, and then Taylor told Deli to shoot him. Deli was shaking and hesitant, and Taylor yelled at him again, shoot him now. Deli wouldn't shoot him, so Taylor aimed his gun and pulled the trigger. The gun didn't go off. It just clicked. He pulled the trigger again. It clicked again. Nothing comes out. The third time he pulls the trigger, the gun went off. It hit Rolf in the head. This is in the garage. Taylor then grabs gas cans and he grabs gas cans and pours gas all throughout the house. And on, you can see the fire, like all throughout the house and on Rolf. Like he thinks like Rolf gets shot in the head, so he's on the garage floor. He pours the gas on Rolf and lights a fire, and they load up on the two snowmobiles. They have the girls driving, the men sitting behind them with guns in their backs. I'm so sorry, my voice keeps going out. Trish had Taylor behind, he's the creepy one. Trish, I mean, they're both pretty creepy. Let's, like, you know. But Trish had Taylor behind her, and Lene had Deli behind her. As they got to the bottom of the drive, they see their Uncle Randy just arriving from wherever he's coming from to come for Christmas. So both girls recognized independently, like, if we signal to Uncle Randy, or if we even indicate that we know him at all, these guys are just going to shoot him. They know that Uncle Randy is unarmed. He's not like a guy that would carry a gun or have a gun there. He may be a guy that I don't know, but he's on vacation, so he probably didn't have it with him. Especially if he flew there, he wouldn't have a gun with him. So they both, keep in mind, they're not sitting next to each other. They're not communicating, but both of them independently just ignore him. And they're like, pretend we don't know him. Taylor says to Trish, do you know that guy? And she's like, no, he just must be a neighbor or somebody from the area. I don't know who he is. Don't know him. They keep going right past him. The girls don't even look at him. And he's thinking, what's up with that? Like, why? Like, my nieces, I haven't seen them in however long it's been. They're a really close family. He's expecting them to run up and hug him, you know, when they see each other for the first time, because they're just that kind of family. So he knows something's wrong. He's not sure what. He said that at first he thought maybe this was their boyfriends, but the guys looked too old to be boyfriends. So he was just kind of confused. He didn't know what was going on, but he knew something wasn't quite right, but he didn't put it together right then that they were being kidnapped. They go to the parking lot, right? Because that's where Rolf's car was parked. The girls knew that Rolf kept the keys underneath the floor mat of his car when it was parked down there. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, people just do that. They probably still do that, but in 1990, I'm sure they did it more. But so the keys are just in the car under the floor mat, and they tell the guys, you know, they get it out of them that, like, yeah, Dad's keys they were asking where the car keys were. He tells them, like, Dad leaves them in the car. So they get into this Lincoln Town car and start to drive away. But as they drove away, they had to come back around past Uncle Randy. And Lene stares at Uncle Randy, like she's in the passenger seat with Taylor driving. In the back is Lene and the other guy, Deli. So she, like, puts her hands up, like, to the vents to warm her hands like this. And she, like, stares, eye contact, locks eyes with Uncle Randy as they go by, and just stares at him. Go by, and he's like, now he really knows something is up. Like, something's going on here. Right about then, he hears another snowmobile coming up the path towards him. And he almost didn't recognize his brother because he had been shot in the head. Yeah, Rolf's not dead. He popped up after they left, after they set fire to him. He laid there and played dead until he heard them pull away. He popped up, goes into a shower, puts himself out, and keeps going. There's some really graphic pictures, but you can see the blood in the shower here. So he's been shot in the head. He jumps in this little shower to put himself out because they set him on fire. And he goes after his daughters with a gunshot wound to the head, arm on fire, burned. Also, he's not wearing his snowsuit anymore. Remember, they had him take his snowsuit off. So he's just in a t-shirt. He's got no hat, no gloves. This is sub-zero temperatures in rural mountainous Utah in December. Randy sees dude coming up just all bloody. He said there was bloodsickles coming out of his face because the blood, it was so cold out that it was just freezing as it was dripping out of him. There's nothing that would have kept Rolf from going after his daughters. After watching his daughters get kidnapped, there is nothing that would have stopped him. And Randy too, by the way. Randy's a hero too. Wait till you hear. Yeah, Randy throws Rolf into the back of his car and starts driving after. Let me just check. Okay. That was my halfway point to check to see if we had any more super chats, which we don't, which is fine. Zena's sound asleep anyway. So Randy knows he needs to get his brother help and he needs to get the girls. So he's flying down to catch up to them because it's been a couple of minutes now since they left. But Taylor's driving the speed limit. He's following all the traffic laws. He definitely does not want to get pulled over right now for obvious reasons. He just committed a double homicide. What he thinks at the time is a triple homicide because they think Rolf's dead, right? There's Randy. Randy in 1990 has a cell phone, guys. I couldn't believe it myself when I heard it. I'm like, really? Did people actually have cell phones in 1990? Randy did. So he's dialing 911, but of course, there's no signal. Thank you very much for the gifted membership, Erica. That gifted membership went to Kfar. Glad you could join us, Kfar. Both of you will be entered into the drawing. Since I didn't take my break, we'll do it now I forgot to tell you the gifted memberships from before. Society Red, gifted membership. Greg Jonick, gifted membership. Pat, gifted membership. Conspiracy Music, you were gifted a membership from Bandit. And Linda Hill, you were also gifted a membership. Thank you. Everybody gets entered into the drawing. The drawing will take place the first episode of January, which I think is the 6th. Whatever the first Sunday in January is. We'll do another drawing. Thank you. And News Now Enemy just renewed his membership. So we're going to give the doggies some treats and we'll get back to it. It was my plan to have a little break before we went into the car chase portion of the program. Oh yes, there's a car chase coming up. Xena, here's the milk bones. I almost gave him too many. Okay, Xena. You ready? Look at how pretty she's sitting. Hi, Xena. Anybody want to jump up here? Do a shake, do a high five. You do a high five? Okay, thank you very much. There's one for you. Ooh. There's one for Xena. There's another one for Xena. Do a high five. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The doggos definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate it. It was literally minutes before the show started that I got the Xena Cam to be working. So every single penny is going towards getting a new Xena Cam. I guess it's a Xena and Ava Cam now, but it really started off as just the Xena Cam. And, you know, Ava's kind of a terrorist, so she doesn't get a cam. Isn't that right, Ava? Yes, she is. She won't let you know, but she's a terrorist. Okay. So, Randy's in the car driving down the canyon. I want to remind you how rural we are. We are in these mountains up here. So they're coming down this road to the town of Oakley, which is here. He's trying and trying and trying to get a signal. Oh, I did not see Major Victory. I'm so sorry I didn't see that. Thank you very much, Major Victory. We'll do a couple more milk bones. Well, I'll get you at the end. How about that? I don't want to keep stopping every time. I'm sorry I missed that, but I'm going to put them out so I remember to get you at the end. And anybody else who donates, we'll get them at the end. Thank you, number 2, for letting me know. Behind the scenes. She's always back here bugging me. She's telling me what to do. She's like a puppet master, just controlling my strings. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I would have missed that. Because I don't see it over here. I have to look over here. And I have to check the Rumble chat every once in a while to see if I get any Rumble rants. So finally a signal goes through. 911, it starts ringing on the 1990s cell phone, which I'm assuming is one of those that kind of looks like a brick. Maybe in 1990, was it those Nokia phones? I'm thinking it was the brick phone in 1990. I think those little Nokias. I remember cell phones started off big and then they got really small and now they're kind of big again. Like, look at how big my phone is. Finally gets a signal. He tells the 911 operator, my brother's been shot in the head. My nieces have been kidnapped. I need a helicopter life flight now. And I'm following this car, and he's giving them the play-by-play of like where the car is going, which is basically just down this road. I'm assuming he gets signal somewhere in here, getting up to this town. But right as he gets that information out, before the 911 operator can even respond to anything, the signal drops. The line goes dead. And so he makes the decision to, as they're coming up to Oakley, there's a gas station over here. And he makes the decision. He sees them turn south. The town car with the girls and the kidnappers / murderers, the guys who shot his brother in the face, who's bleeding in the back seat. He sees them turn south, and he makes the decision because he knows there's not anywhere to go on this road going south. It's not like there's a million escape routes. He stops at a gas station to use a payphone. Remember payphones? I haven't seen one of those in a while either. And he gets 911 on the payphone right away, and there's a cop right in the area who's able to radio out to all the other cops in the area, the Summit County. It's a Summit County like sheriff, and they get like an APB out almost immediately to be on the lookout for this Lincoln Town car with kidnapped, like 2 dudes and 2 kidnapped teenage looking girls. Obviously, well, I guess 19, or 20 is not, pretty close to being a teenager, right? So 2 young girls and 2 guys like kidnapped, and another deputy. So one deputy meets them at the gas station over here, and another deputy that's just a little bit down the road sees them almost immediately, flips a U-turn, gets behind them, This is where the high-speed pursuit begins. So the Summit County Sheriff's deputy pulls behind him, turns on lights and sirens, starts to go after them, and they were driving the speed limit like the whole way until this happens. Then these dudes step on the gas. They got up to 100 miles an hour on these December Utah snowy, curvy roads, going 100 miles an hour, with the two girls like freaking out, thinking that like they think they're going to die again because they're going 100 miles an hour down this road. They hit a guardrail. By the way, this chase goes on quite a while. Many other law enforcement, there's like Utah State Police end up joining in. There's not only are there police involved in this chase, but there's locals involved as well to help the police, because it's one of those places where it's just rural, and when things like that happen, everybody jumps in and helps out. They hit a guardrail on one side, go across the highway, spin out, and go down the steep embankment. They end up hitting the bottom, and they're all like a little shocked, and it's silent for just like a beat. And then the girls hear these two talking about suicide. Taylor tells Deli, like, okay, we had said that we're going to commit suicide if we got caught, and Deli refused and said, I'm not committing suicide, we're going to still get out of this. And he gets out of the car and starts opening fire on the police, who have now surrounded the vehicle, and there's just gunfire back and forth across the car. Lene and Trish duck down and they hold hands like across the center console, like, because one's in the front seat and one's in the back seat, right? So they're holding hands, and glass is shattering all around them because like there's bullets flying and hitting the windows. At one point, Lene feels Trisha go limp and like let go of her hand, so she thought that she had gotten hit by a stray bullet, which she didn't, thank goodness. Once all of that has stopped, the police like unarm or like disarm the men. They're getting them in handcuffs, and the police come to the car and pull Lene and Trish out of the car as the two men are kneeling on the ground getting handcuffed. And I got to remember which sister it was. I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, so it was Lene. Lene, as they're getting out of the car, she's yelling at the officers, shoot them right now, shoot them in the head. They killed my mom, my dad, and my Grams. You need to kill them right now. I agree, Lene. I agree. I mean, I saw him reach for another weapon. They didn't shoot him right there. But that's what happened. So as Lene and Trish are sitting in the back of the police car, they overhear on the radio that mom and grandma were found deceased at the scene, but their dad is on a life flight helicopter headed to University Hospital. So they start to pray in the back of the police car together. And this time there's nobody there to tell them it's not going to work, because it did work. Randy ended up making it to the University hospital in time. Praise the Lord. When they arrive at the police station, they finally were able to hug Uncle Randy. They run into the police station. He says it's the best hug that he had ever received. Best hug ever. The girls were then, they do the questioning and stuff like that, or, take the statements, but they end up taking them to the university hospital to be reunited with their dad, which I can't even imagine that feeling of thinking that your dad is dead. Like, you see him get shot in the face. Like, you think he's dead. You witness this. And then he's not dead. He's alive, and he's just at the hospital. Not just, I mean, being at the hospital is not great. Turns out, after Rolf Tiede made a full recovery, he realized that he had helped Taylor and Deli a few days before when he came across these two on a four-wheeler stuck in the snow. Rolf saw them stuck. He stopped and helped pull their four-wheeler out of the snow. Let me get to the right. The funeral services for Kay and Beth were held together on December 28th. This is from the Deseret News. It says joint funeral services are being scheduled for Beth Harmon Tidwell Potts and her daughter, Kay Tidwell Tiede, who were apparent homicide victims on Saturday, December 22nd, 1990, at the family cabin near Oakley, Summit County, Utah. Miss Tiede's husband, Rolf, was also critically injured in the same incident and has required hospitalization. Beth Harmon Tidwell Potts, age 76, was born August 20th, 1914, in Manti, Utah, and a daughter of Rosala Lowry and Milton Harmon. Survivors of Mrs. Potts include 3 daughters, 1 son: Claudia Gotez of Salt Lake City, Barbara Noriega of Kaysville, Utah, and Sue Ellen Rindier of Dayton, Idaho, and Ken Tidwell of Salt Lake City. So they all lived in the area. I think these are all the aunts and uncles that were coming to the cabin. Kay Tidwell Tiede, age 49, was born January 16, 1941 in Ely, Nevada, and a daughter of Claude Eugene and Beth Harmon Tidwell. She married Rolf Tiede on May 24, 1963 in Salt Lake City. Member of the LDS Church, she and her family are residents of Humble, Texas, near Houston. Survivors of Miss Tiede include her husband and 3 children, Lene, Sean, and Tricia, and her 3 sisters and brother, Claudia, Barbara, Sue Ellen, and Ken. The funeral is being held on December 28th at noon, and that's the address of where it's being held. I got a little choked up reading that, guys. Just the part where it says she survived by her husband, because thank goodness those girls had their dad, you know? The cabin, remember they set it on fire? Turns out it didn't burn down because it was just too cold and the fire put itself out. So this means valuable evidence, like really valuable evidence, was saved by those frigid temperatures. Oh, this is the part I wanted to show you. So I'm going to run through these photos a little bit. So this is the garage. And you can see the knocked over gas can there. This is the cabin, and this is where they pulled them into the garage when the dad and Tricia pulled up. These are the girls today. Well, maybe not today. This is from a few years ago. This is the girls from a few years ago. And this is them back then. This is part of the room that they set on fire. Uncle Randy, hero in my opinion. Uncle Randy's the hero of the story. Dad too, obviously. Dad is definitely the hero as well, for sure. I'm pulling milk bones out as I see the chats come through, and then we'll get them at the end. This is the corner of where they would park. They would come up the trail and park here. where they transferred, where Uncle Randy saw them go by and they like stared at him. That's where this happened. This is Rolf taking the stand in one of the trials. This is the shower where he put himself out after being set on fire. There's Uncle Randy again. This is where the car ended up spun out. The mug shots, of course. So creepy. Like, just dead eyes on this one. Just dead eyes. I can't even explain the difference. Like, this one doesn't seem to have as dead of eyes as this one. But if you recall, Taylor here is the one that was trying to get Deli to shoot the guy. And Deli's like, I'm not shooting him. I'm not going to shoot him. So, I mean, can we rank the evil? Like, which one's more? I think this guy's more evil. This is the one who said he was a Satan worshiper as well. This is the view from the deck of the cabin. I can see how they called it Tiede's Tranquility. They had a sign above their driveway that said that. It is very tranquil there, isn't it? It seems like a place I would like to go. Probably more so in the summer than the winter. I'm not really, I grew up in Chicago. I'm not really a snow person anymore. I try to stay away from the snow. This is in the garage. It says here it's a 12 to 18 inch puddle, and you can see it's frozen to the ground. This is the most horrid picture in my opinion. They dragged the bodies out to that deck, and this has dripped through the deck and made icicles basically coming out from the deck above. This is where they had, put the blankets and snow over Mom and Grams. There's that Polaroid tape. Grandma, Mom. Now we're getting into the trial. So Taylor pled guilty to 2 counts of capital murder, and the judge sentenced him to death. But in March of 2020, a federal judge overturned the death row, or the death sentence, which is crazy to me. It says here, a federal judge has vacated the death sentence of condemned killer Von Lester Taylor. I'm getting such a stack of dog biscuits over here. Such a stack. Yeah, they hear me getting them out. You'll get them in a second. Let me read this. I'll give them to you in a second. A federal judge has vacated the death sentence of condemned killer Von Lester Taylor in a ruling obtained by Fox 13 on Wednesday night. The U.S. District Court Judge Tina Campbell. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm thinking. Overturned his sentence. She found that Taylor did not have effective legal counsel, and when he was initially charged. As a result, Mr. Taylor did not make a knowing and intelligent decision to plead guilty to 2 capital crimes, Judge Campbell wrote. She granted Taylor's request for relief because Mr. Taylor's death sentence was based on his invalid guilty plea. It must be vacated, the judge wrote. In 1990, Taylor and his co-defendant, Edward Deli, broke into a cabin and killed Kay Tiede and her mother, Beth Potts. The men kidnapped Lene and Tricia Tiede and shot their father, Rolf. They set the cabin on fire and fled. After a high-speed chase, both men were arrested in 1991. Taylor pled guilty to capital murder and was sentenced to execution. So this happened in, what did I say? 2020? Good news, guys. I have very good news for you. Because in 2021, the appeals court said, nah, we're going to kill him. Like, nah, we're not doing that, Tina, whatever your name is, Judge Tina. We're not doing that. Federal appeals court reinstates the death sentence, the death penalty for convicted Utah man. There he is today, by the way. Still has pretty empty eyes, in my opinion. The 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver has reversed a lower court's decision to overturn the death sentence of a Utah man. In an opinion handed down on Friday, a 3-judge panel reinstated the death penalty conviction for Von Lester Taylor. Mr. Taylor does not deny he actively participated in the murders. To answer the question of whether he can be actually innocent of the crime, he cannot. Mr. Taylor is not innocent in any sense of the word. Judge Timokovich, we're going to go with Timokovich, wrote, Taylor tried to argue ineffective assistance of counsel when he pled guilty to capital murder charges. A federal judge in Salt Lake City vacated his death sentence. Yeah, Tina did that. The 10th Circuit overruled that decision, putting him back on death row. Like those overrules. And then just goes into a little description of the crime, which we just went through, so we won't go through that again. In July of 2021, the Circuit Court of Appeals reinstated the death penalty. Taylor is still awaiting his sentence to be carried out at the Utah State Correctional Facility. Now, Edward Deli went to trial. He pled not guilty. Like, there's witnesses, bro. What are you doing? What do you mean not guilty? He said, I'm not guilty of this. I didn't do it. He went to trial. He was convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder. Turns out there was only one juror. They were trying him for first-degree murder, but there was one juror that's said that held out, that didn't want to do the. There was one juror that didn't want to do the first-degree murder, so they ended up settling on second-degree murder, which I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. Lene, Trish, and Rolf testified at this trial. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 1992, Rolf sued the state of Utah for the wrongful death of Beth and Kay. And I bet you're thinking to yourself, why on earth would the state of Utah be responsible for the death that these 2 crazy men did? Why would the state of Utah be responsible? That's what I said to myself when I heard that. And then I read the case. And guys, Rolf's got a point, right? Okay, so basically, to sum it up, Rolf is saying that these 2 guys went missing from the halfway house on December 14th. And nobody did anything about it. These are 2 convicted felons that the state is supposed to have control over. And they didn't even so much as go look for them. So like I said, he's kind of got a point, but unfortunately for him, the state has immunity from things like this. So he didn't win that lawsuit. Let me fix this. There she is. That's my beautiful girl. I kind of get it. When I first saw it, I always think to myself, when I see lawsuits like that, why are you suing the state? What? You know. But that kind of makes sense. You lose 2 inmates on December 14th, and they don't do anything about it until they kill my family. That's when you're going to do something. That's when something happens, after they kill my family. So the family rebuilt the cabin and they still use it today. Rolf unfortunately passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2008. There he is. Hero. Rolf is a hero. In between those years, though, he got to watch his daughters walk down the aisle, or he got to walk his daughters down the aisle. He got to meet his grandchildren. He got to make many, many more wonderful memories at that cabin They kept the cat. Did I say they kept the cabin and they refinished it? They redid the cabin and they still go there today. The two daughters, one of them has, I think they said like 8 kids. The other one has 2. They take their families up there for family retreats, just like they were doing that day in 1990. All right, I'm going to put the link in the chat in case anybody wants to call in and talk about this case. If you do, come on up and we can talk about it. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm going to do my commercial and then we'll take a call or two and we'll get going. What did you guys think of this story? It was kind of crazy, right? Thought it was kind of crazy. So this show is brought to you by nobody but me. I forgot to get my link ready. Let's get the link ready. If you like what I'm doing here, do a little donation, do a little, you could do a Rumble rant. You can do, which I should probably check to see if anybody did that. Nope. It's showing me I have people on Rumble. Nobody's talking over there. You could buy merchandise. We have all of the merchandise here. The discount code for December is Iggy5. That's IGGY 5. It's because Steven Ignoramus's merchandise is up here as well. You can get his merchandise. You can get my merchandise. Lots of cool stuff. We just got this notebook in if you want to take notes while we're talking about crime. It's a good deal. And of course, we have the True Crime with Xena merchandise. True Crime with Xena featuring Katie Zed. That's me. I love this design. I made this design. It's probably why I like it. I'm the one that made it. Because Xena's always sleeping. Like, look at the representation. Look at how much it looks the same. There's her sleeping. There's her sleeping on the t-shirt. There's her sleeping. There's her sleeping on the t-shirt. Speaking of, we're going to give them some dog treats. I appreciate all of the support very, very much. Let me scroll back and do the super chats. I don't think anybody's calling in today. Nobody's coming up. That's fine. I get it. If you do want to, the link is there. I'll put it again. Major victory. Thank you very much, sir. No note, just a sticker. Appreciate that. Oh, hey, Xena. There you go. Ava, do a high five. Do a shake. Do it. Do it. All right. I think I did News Now Enemy already. Checker 70. This is for... Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Xena. Do a handshake. Good girl. And this one. Do a handshake. Do a handshake. Do a handshake. And I think there was one or two more. Handy. Thank you very much for the doggo cam. I appreciate that very much. There's one for Xena. There's one for Ava. And Big Bork, Little Bite. I appreciate your support always. They really are good girls. I mean, Ava is a little bit of a terrorist, but other than that, they're good girls. Oh yeah, my brother's pointing out becoming a member helps as well. I appreciate it. Thank you, Handy. I'll take a look. I might get a better camera for me and give them my camera. We'll see. I'm better with the audio stuff than I am with the camera stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. So I appreciate all the help. Anyway, that's the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. What time is it? I feel like that was way quicker than... It's like... I usually go for like 2 hours. It's only been an hour and 9 minutes. It was a quick episode. What can I tell you? It was a pretty straightforward story. I'm so glad. Like, the fact that their dad was able to do all those life moments with them just makes me so happy. I miss my dad, guys, especially around the holidays. I miss my dad. Anyway, that's kind of a downer. What am I doing? I'll see you guys next time. Oh, next time. I forgot to tell you what's happening next time. On the December 24th, which is Christmas Eve, I'm going to do an episode for you. I'm going to do the Jeremy by Pearl Jam, the story behind Jeremy. December 31st, which is New Year's Eve, 4:30, so it won't interfere with your New Year's plans, but we're going to do the Nirvana song Polly. Also has a very dark backstory. I'm going to tell you all about it. Oh my goodness, Big Bork Little Bite doesn't want me to leave. Xena gets another treat. Don't forget, everybody who donated gets a entry. If you donated or if you became a new member today, you get an entry into the drawing. And all new members, we do a game night once a month. You will be invited to the Katie's Dumb Criminal game night if you're a member. One more dog treat and we'll go. Can you believe how big Xena is from when we first started? It's crazy. Thanks for coming, everybody. I will see you next week.